So this first mask I'm going to show you is a mask that I use in almost all of my images. So let's look at the shot here. First of all, I just want to say that this isn't a technically correct shot. Like, it's super blurry. I shot it at 1/20th of a second and I was on the back of a motorbike. So I was holding the camera over my shoulder, trying to get a photo of everyone behind me as I was going forward. The guys here, they're not really in focus. The background isn't in focus, but it kind of creates a vibe and it makes it feel like you're actually on a motorbike. So that's the kind of the trade-off. But anyway, what I don't like about this image is all this dead space down here. Now this is where the mask comes in. So let's add a mask here. Let's add a linear gradient and draw it up from the bottom like this. And now this is what I do in almost all my images, or I should say this is what I used to do in all my images. I'll just lower the exposure like this and call it a day. And there's nothing wrong with this. Like, it doesn't look bad in this case, but I think we can make it better. So what we would do to make this better is let's click minus and hit on this luminance range here. I'm going to drag this slider to the right. And as I drag it to the right, you'll see down here, I'm going to drag it to the right. You can see that it's starting to affect only the dark parts of the image. And as it does that, it's going to leave these brighter parts of the image here untouched. So let's bring it in. And now let me lower this exposure a bit more just to see a bit more of a dramatic version. And already you can see that this is a way more textured and interesting mask than just a flat gradient. So let me turn off that luminance mask now so we can actually see what that exposure is doing by itself. So now we're looking at that exposure adjustment affect both the shadows and highlights evenly. But now let's compare it to the luminance mask, which makes the exposure adjustment only hit those shadows. It's just way more textured. It looks so much more interesting to my eyes. And let's just turn it off for a second. Even though the ground here, the road here, looks like it's evenly exposed, it actually isn't. Like, let's zoom in. You can see that there are streaks here. So it's bright there, it's a bit darker there, it's a bit brighter there, and so on and so forth. And what this luminous mask is doing is it's only tackling those darker parts of the image. And by doing that, you're creating these long streaks that lead the eye up towards this main subject here. And like I said, I just think that's a way more interesting way to use the mask. You don't have to use this mask all the time. It's always dependent. It's always dependent on the image. But in this specific image, I think it really works because it does create, like I said, like these long streaks of light that lead towards the main subject here. So let me try and find another example to show you where I use this mask. Now we got this image here, and I shot this image when I was in Ninbin a couple of months ago. I do have a YouTube video up of me when I took this shot. It hasn't got many views, but it's a bit of a banger of a video, so go check that out. But we do have this road which already leads the eye towards the mountains. But let's emphasize that, and we'll do the same thing. Instead of using a linear gradient, though, I'll use a radial gradient because I only really want to affect the road. I don't really want to affect the side of the road. Let's decrease the feather so it's a bit sharper. So now let's add that luminance range in now, so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm not going to adjust the exposure just yet, so you can see that red, what the reds it's hitting. You might be able to see it a bit better. And now you can see it's slowly starting to come in. And there we go, something like that. And now what you can see is it's really only attacking the shadows of the rocks. It's not really hitting this middle section of the road here that's bright. It's only attacking these long strips and the parts of the rocks that are in shadow. Like the top of the rock here isn't being affected. The top of the rock here isn't being affected, but it's hitting the shadows. It's also hitting a bit here. So let me just get another linear gradient, negative gradient, and let me just take away from that because I only want to affect the road, like I said. So now let's actually go in and lower the exposure and let's see what that looks like. I don't think this really needs to be huge, just enough to create a bit more contrast. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's take away this luminance mask and let's see what it looks like just reducing the exposure with no luminance mask. So this will, once I hit delete, it's going to affect the whole image, not just the shadows. Let's do it. And that's a pretty big difference. And I really do think that this negatively affects the image, whereas the one with the motorbike, you can kind of get away with it without having the luminance mask. But here, let's bring the luminance mask back in. I think that's just way more interesting. And then you maintain that contrast between this dark section of the road and this light section of the road. One of my rules of editing is to emphasize what's already there. And that's why I use this luminance mask to only, if I'm reducing exposure, to attack the shadows. I don't really do it the other way around. I don't really target the highlights and increase the highlights this way, but I will sometimes, like in this example, I don't really need to. I'm just going to show you an example. Like I might use a mask like this and increase the exposure, or decrease the dehaze to emphasize the sky. I didn't do it in this case because I don't think it needs it, but I wouldn't really add a luminance range like this and only attack the highlights. It's very, very rare that I do that. I would only really use this technique for the shadows. But yeah, that's the first way that I use a mask in almost all my images. Now this second mask that I use, I don't use this as much, but I think it's an interesting way of using masks to get an effect. Now we have this road that leads you up to this guy, and then there's this little hut here. And what we could do is we could use the object tool to select this. Select the hut. I imagine it'll get it pretty well. It's got it pretty well. It hasn't got the chimney there, but just for the example of describing what I'm doing, it doesn't really matter right now. And we can increase the exposure of that. Now that looks pretty good. That doesn't look too bad. But what I tend to do these days is something a bit different. And I got this idea from a podcast I was listening to with Greg Fraser, who's a cinematographer. He shot like The Batman, Dune. He shot Project Hail Mary recently, which is a banger of a film. He also shot Rogue One. And slight spoiler for that movie, there's a scene near the end of the film where Darth Vader is revealed, and he's down this long corridor and he's standing there and he opens up his lightsaber and there's this red glow that appears. And he was saying that when the red glow appeared, it didn't look quite right until he put a light source behind Darth Vader. And even though that light source technically doesn't make any sense, like the glow should be coming from the lightsaber, it should be lighting him up from the side. But he added a light behind to add a glow from behind. And like I said, it doesn't technically make sense, but just to make the image look a bit more natural. I got that idea and I was like, I wonder if I can try to use that in my photos. I'm gonna try and use it here because this hut is not the same color as this mountain shadow in the background, but it's similar enough to where they just blend in a little bit too much. So let's try and add a glow or a backlight to this hut. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get a radial mask like this. Let's feather it out by quite a bit. Now let's click on that mask, let's hit the minus button, and let's take away the hut from that mask. Okay, and you can see that we have taken away the hut, but we still have this mountains here. So I don't want that. I want to get rid of those mountains. Let's just use a linear gradient to remove it affecting anything in front of the hut or next to it. So what we have now is a mask that isn't exactly affecting the hut, it's just only targeting the area behind the hut. So what I can do now is I can increase the exposure of that. This is, by the way, I need to say this is a very subtle effect, like very, very subtle. Don't use this to save your image because it's definitely not going to save your image. You almost want this to be so subtle that you can't really see it, but you just know it's amplifying what's there. So I'm increasing the exposure just a little bit, just a wee bit. I might even decrease the dehaze. And it's looking a bit blue, so let's just increase the warmth a bit there. I even think this is probably too much, to be honest. So let's bring that down to like 0.4 on the dot. And you might be like, man, that doesn't look like much. And you'd be right. There isn't much going on there, but let's just hide it for a second. Let's click here, hide the mask. And let's bring it back in. Let's bring it back out. So when you're A/B testing it like that, you can see that it is doing a fair bit. But if you're looking at the image for the first time, you're not going to really notice it as much. I just think this is just a unique way of adding separation to your image. And like the normal thing to do, like I said, would just to be select and highlight the house like that. And that's a totally viable option. Like you can do that. You can probably even do both of these. So let's just increase that just a little bit. That looks really nice. It's got a little bit of a glow behind it, a little bit about this, like it is unnatural. And like I always say that I try and make my images look really, really natural. And this is kind of breaking that rule because it does look a little bit unnatural, but I don't know. I just like how it looks. So again, let's try and find another example where I can use this backlight effect to separate a subject. Okay, so we're back in Ninbin now. And remember, go check out that video after this if you haven't seen my Ninbin video yet. Like I said, it's a banger. But we have this shot here and we have this guy on the motorcycle and you can clearly see him. There's no way you're gonna miss him, but he does kind of blend in just a little bit with that background. So again, let's create that mask again. I actually already created the mask, so let me just bring that in straight away. I'm highlighting the background, but I'm leaving him kind of dark. And again, let's take it out. Let's bring it back in. Let's take it out. Let's bring it back in. Because he's not totally lost in the background, I think this is a good time to use that effect where you're not really brightening him up, you're just brightening up that background, and that lets him pop out from the background a bit more. So let's hide that mask. Let's do the opposite. Let's just highlight him. Let's just see how it looks. Like I know it's not gonna look bad, but let's just see how it looks if I just highlight him. So he's selected pretty well there. Let's just brighten him up. That's looking pretty good. Like that's without the halo behind him, or the brightness behind him rather. Now let's turn that off and let's bring the mask behind him back. That or that. You could go either way, to be honest. I do both. I jump in between both, and when to know when to jump in between both is really up to you. You always got to play these things by ear. The first mask I showed you, where I was using the luminance mask to only attack the shadows, I tend to do that like 90% of the time. Whereas this mask, this is like a sometimes thing. And when to use it is really up to you. Like there's no hard and fast rule for this. It just really depends. You got to play this stuff by ear. I always say this in these kind of videos. It's like, there's no correct way to go about this. As long as it just enhances what's already there, and as long as you're not making the image worse, you're totally fine. But that's another thing that I just want to say again, that like, you got to have a good image to begin with. Adding this mask behind them and backlighting the subject isn't going to save your image. It's only going to enhance what's already there. And adding a mask down the bottom and using the luminance range to only attack the shadows isn't going to save your image. Like, you've got to have a pretty good image to start with. But yeah, those are two masks that I use a lot these days. So hope you enjoyed the video. See ya.